Coach Jim Boeheim says it's time for the masks to come off at the Carrier Dome. The men's basketball team takes on Duke this Saturday. Could be the biggest game of the season. And as of right now, masks are still required.
But Jim Boeheim says these policies don't make sense anymore, in his opinion. Tony Black is live outside the Dome after hearing from students on the current mandates. Tony?
Yeah, Matt and Megan, nearly 35,000 basketball fans can fill the Carrier Dome for a home game. All 35,000 required to wear a mask by the university. But the team's top coach saying he does not agree with that anymore and says it's time for that to end.
Hopefully we can be like the rest of the country and come in here without masks Saturday, but I guess we just can't do that.
Syracuse University men's basketball coach Jim Boeheim expressing his frustrations with the masking policy at the Dome Monday. The coach says it's time they come off before taking on Duke Saturday. If they took the court in North Carolina, fans would still be wearing masks. They're also required at Duke's Cameron Indoor Stadium and at other ACC stadiums like Wake Forest and Boston College. Students on the Syracuse campus say it's time for a change.
I think we're at a point where we're going to have to just live with COVID anyway.
The university no longer requires vaccinated students to wear masks indoors except for academic instruction and at the Dome. Coach Boeheim calls it crazy that the students have to do that, but then can go socialize without them.
Go downtown, go down to the party, they have no masks. There's 400 people in a party.
Obviously, they can't police students in all of their off time and whenever they leave school grounds. And obviously, people want to see each other and reconnect with the pandemic receding.
Some students say there's a level of disconnect between masking in certain places but not others, noting maybe it's to protect older staff, but the students are not as nervous anymore.
Like you wear the mask in class, but as soon as you walk into the hall, it becomes optional.
Active cases on campus have dropped by nearly 70 since Friday. Students say that's a positive sign. It's time to make it a personal choice, and also questioning how well mask requirements are actually being followed now.
In the student section, there's not really already a lot of mask wearing.
The university says that they're talking with public health officials as well as other large venue operators in the state about possible adjustments, and we did reach out to the university and the athletic director for their thoughts on the coach's comments as well as how those conversations are going, and we have not heard back.
A new power stepping into the conversation of issues at apartment complexes. Good evening, I'm Matt Mulcahy.
And I'm Megan Coleman. Attorney General Letitia James in Syracuse today announcing Green National, the property owner of the troubled Skyline Apartments, will have to correct outstanding code violations at all of its New York-owned properties. Our Amanda Hall was at the event today. She joins us live now with details. Amanda?
Yeah, that's right, Matt and Megan. Green National owns several affordable housing properties here in the city of Syracuse, and today the Attorney General's investigation finds them, quote, repeatedly ignored state and local housing code requirements, and now Green National will pay a price. It's been almost 1 year since the tragic murder of Connie Torrey at the Skyline Apartments owned by Green National sparked a need for accountability. Since March of 2021, Green National still faced 11 of the 79 code violations against the Skyline property, according to Syracuse Mayor Ben Walsh at the end of January. The Attorney General today announcing Green National has 60 days to address their outstanding housing code violations at all 10 of their apartment complexes in the city of Syracuse.
So I can tell all of the tenants right now that I make a commitment to them that they should not be living in situations as has been described, and that the Office of Attorney General will continue to monitor the situation and that we will be back.
Under the agreement, Green National will pay a $300,000 penalty if they are unable to fix all the violations in 60 days. If they do, Green National will pay $50,000. Attorney General, how has the cooperation been from Green National and their lawyers through this process in the investigation?
We have a signed assurance of discontinuance, an agreement between Greens that they will address all of the outstanding violations and that any new violations that they will immediately correct. In addition to that, they have put aside $300,000 in escrow. And they also understand that security is a major issue, and so they will have security guards. We would hope that they would, again, address all of the issues, particularly the ones that were just witnessed this morning by the mayor. And in the event that conditions continue, we will take further action. And the further action and relief that we are seeking includes, but is not limited to, the fact that we could possibly seize these properties. No one should live in these conditions.
Syracuse Mayor Ben Walsh says his team went into the property today and for the fourth time deemed it unfit for living.
The very conditions that were allegedly remedied just a few weeks ago are once again present today.
And Green National is also facing a lawsuit from the family of Connie Torrey, who was brutally murdered here in February of 2021. We did reach out to Green National for a comment after the announcement on the agreement today from the Attorney General's office and have yet to hear back.
COVID precaution. And now landlords say they are still struggling. CBS 5 investigative reporter Mary Keeler is on your side. She's with us in the studio with an update.
Michael, I talked to a Syracuse landlord today with a few decades of experience renting out properties in the city. Tonight, he tells me he's lost thousands of dollars in back rent. Tom House has been a landlord in Syracuse since 1981. He owns properties like this one on Craig Street, which he says fell to a squatter who didn't pay rent for 5 months from September to January.
The last 2 years have been the roughest I've ever seen. Fortunately, most of the buildings did pay, but I had 4 that did not. Consequently, I lost $35,000 on those 4 buildings.
He's back in the house, working to get it back in shape to rent out again. That includes new floors, a paint job, and new appliances in the kitchen. We've been reporting for several months now on the challenges for landlords who say tenants got the most protection during the pandemic. Lawyers say they've heard from more clients than ever who are ready to start the eviction process now that it's allowed. But many landlords are choosing to take a huge hit to their wallet and try to move on. Are you expecting any back rent from any of the properties that you had?
The most I've gotten out of the back rent was $2,800.
There are guides for landlords out there to go through the process of an eviction or getting a judge's order to get back rent. But Tom House says it's an intensive process that isn't forgiving if you miss a step. Are you hopeful, or do you think we're past that?
Not from what I've seen. Unless I start seeing some politicians start saying something in favor of the landlord.
Tom House tells me he's looking to sell some of his properties to new ownership because he just can't keep up anymore. Earlier this afternoon, Attorney General Letitia James was in Syracuse, and we asked her about landlords feeling neglected here and across the state. She says she doesn't want their rights to be ignored.